for the first time in your life, you are going to have a control over this situation which has affected you like nothing affected you ever before. And that in itself means that at that moment in time, your eyes are going to be open, and this is going to bring so much clarity into your life, especially when it comes to you not making this useless sacrifice. So not only you're going to have a control over this situation, you know, something that affected you like so much. In fact, you're actually not even you didn't even realize how much this affected you. You're only going to realize now, when you have a full control over something that drained almost all energy away from you. This in itself means that you will know what do you need to do, but most importantly, you will also know, my gorgeous Scorpione, which useless sacrifice not to actually make. And that in itself, it's leading towards the point where you have to understand you have got a very powerful numbers in terms of the actual numerology. Your numbers are 1133. So that means that not only you're gonna have a control over a situation that affected you like nothing before for the first time in your life, not only you are going to know exactly which sacrifice not to make, because it would be a complete waste of time, it would be a complete useless sacrifice, but at the end, this is all going to really lead towards this meaningful experience which you are going to have precisely on the 22nd of June 2023. And this meaningful experience that you are going to have, this is gonna, oh my God, it's gonna make you feel alive again. It's going to really make you aware of the fact how much more there is you want to do, how much more there is you want to try, how much more there is you want to explore, my gorgeous Scorpione. This in itself is basically also going to lead towards you realizing, you know, that you are in self-denial, especially when it comes to having an unrealistic attitude about something. And this will open your eyes and it will help you to move on, my gorgeous Scorpione. And you need to move on. You need to move on. This is ever so important. And when it comes to the actual nutrition and when it comes to health and things like that, again, I strongly recommend you to take natural vitamin D3, natural zinc picolinate, and organic chlorella. Natural vitamin D3 is going to boost your immune system and it's going to be brilliant for your bones. A zinc picolinate is also going to boost your immune system, but it's going to be brilliant for skin, hair, and nails as well. And organic chlorella is going to be fantastic because it's rich in protein, essential fatty acids, which our body cannot produce by itself, but it's essential. It's rather needed. And on top of that, organic chlorella, it's also going to help you to detoxify your body from the dangerous metals. Now, you know, I have my own natural supplements and they are dead cheap at the moment. They're on a half price sale. So I suggest you to get them literally, because they are made with exceptional quality ingredients and they are without any fillers, without any chemicals, and without any unnecessary additives. So here is zinc picolinate. Okay, here is natural vitamin D3, and here is also organic chlorella. So if you're on any other medications, if you're pregnant, if you're breastfeeding, you just need to check with your doctor, you just need to check with your GP. Only your doctor or GP can tell you whether this can interact with your existing medications or not. And if you would like to buy my vitamins, which I strongly suggest, you should just check this description below. Just click on the name of this video. It's going to expand and you will see towards the end the links to buy these supplements, or you can just go on Google and just type in Sasha Bonasin supplements or vitamins and you will see my page coming up that way as well. So now, my gorgeous Scorpione, going on I'm going to talk about the very first date when it comes to June. Now, the 2nd and the 3rd of June, on the 2nd and the 3rd of June, I have to be honest with you, because you are going going to have a really unusual and quite interesting and quite weird experience at the same time. And this, this weird experience that you are going to have, it's going to make you really, really curious about something. But you're going to kind of go through this, you're going to be thinking about it, and then you're going to forget about it. But it's going to stay at the back of your subconscious mind, and you are going to be reminded of this on the actual 7th of June, because the 7th of June is going to play an important role. Because on one hand, you're going to feel like on the 7th of June, this is like when you're going to feel, oh, I've got a bit of like a lack of direction, and this is actually not going to be a bad thing, because you need to feel like this in order to get to the bottom of things, you see, because otherwise you wouldn't. So the more you feel like you have a lack of direction, the more powerful outcome it's actually going to be. So it's all going to start with you feeling like you have a lack of direction, and then now you need to understand, you need to look at this from a different angle. You need to be grateful for this, because you are at that moment in time going through something very, very spiritual. When it comes to your spiritual path, this is the beginning of an important unfoldment that I need you to pay attention to, and I need you to know this, because this is all going to lead towards you having some kind of a newly formed idea. This is going to lead towards you having a newly formed idea. So what the 2nd and the 3rd of June have to do with this? Well, if you didn't come across what you came across over these 2 days, on the 2nd and the 3rd of June, then you would never, ever, ever have this particular newly formed idea. So all this is going to lead towards, so it's going to be a really huge connection with what you're going to go through on the 2nd and the 3rd of June. And this is going to lead towards you having this newly formed idea. I repeat that this is ever so important, especially when it comes to you finding yourself at the beginning of a very, very powerful spiritual path. Okay, the beginning of an important unfoldment, which is indeed going to bring stability, and it's going to bring focus into your life. And in order to accept, and especially it's going to bring a stability and focus into your life, but especially in order to accept, move on, and find peace, my gorgeous Scorpioni. But you have to keep it simple. You're gonna have to keep it simple. Just remember this. By keeping it simple, you will liberate yourself from any obstructions, okay, and along the way. And at the same time, by keeping it simple, you will find a solution. By keeping it simple, I mean not to overthink at all, okay? Don't think about obstacles. Don't think about challenges. Just think about the actual outcome. You need to focus on the actual outcome, because the actual outcome is something which is, of course, going to be keeping you going. And so by keeping it simple, I just mean that you must not fall into that like kind of overthinking mode, because once we get there, then that means that we are doubting ourselves, and then we just make things more difficult for ourselves as well. So this is why this is ever so important, my gorgeous Scorpioni. By the time you get to the actual 10th of June, now the 10th of June, you just need to understand that on the 10th of June, you are gonna have a little bit of a negative thoughts, but these negative thoughts that you are going to have, it's going to come to you because of like a self-imposed restriction. And I'm not telling you this is what you're going to realize. First, you're going to be thinking negatively, about something, like really negatively. And then you're going to realize, you know what? This is because of self-imposed restriction. So now when that happens, at the same time, you are kind of going to hear about some kind of truth as well. You're going to find out some kind of truth at around that time that hasn't got anything to do with your life whatsoever. But at the same time, you are going to find find a remarkable connection through the power of synchronicity, where you're going to realize that this truth, you know, it's bringing more clarity into your life, and it's nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your life, but you will be able to recognize your own situation through the power of synchronicity, where you will understand, and it's going to be confirmed to you again about you, kind of like a maybe being part of this self-imposed restriction. So this is brilliant, because you are going to understand your strength, you are going to understand your power, and this realization that you are going to have, it's going to be ever so important. This realization in your mind, it's going to be so important, because you will know exactly which step do you need to make. And this is something after this moment in time, an important step. This is really personal, extremely personal to you, and this is something that you wouldn't even talk to other people, or you would only talk to really specific people in your lives about, you know. So this is something really personal, but at the same time it is gonna seem like a really great achievement indeed. And also when it comes to the actual 11th of June, like really bizarre realization as soon as you wake up, the very first thing in the morning. Nothing unusual, my gorgeous Scorpioni, because this is a very powerful number, and the number 11 also like means a lot, that something is going to happen on that day, especially when it comes to you having your a little awakening, you know. Something is you know, going to affect you in such a way where you are going to have your little awakening. And what is actually going to be really interesting, that on the 11th of June, the very first thing in the morning, as soon as you wake up, there is something unusual going to be on your mind, something really unusual that you're going to feel so adamant to do, so adamant, and it's going to be absolutely to do with like nothing important or anything like that. In fact, it's going to be really silly, it's going to be really weird. Like for example, maybe you're going to feel, oh my god, I just want to go and jump into the water. Maybe you're going to feel, I just want to go and jump into the river, I just want to go and jump into the sea, I just want to go like it and spend the time in the middle of the forest. There is just something really unusual which is going to come to your mind, and this is really going to surprise you. And why is this so important for you to do? It's more about this following these really sacred directions, and it's leading you towards a very interesting destination. And this needs to surprise you. This really needs to surprise you, because the very specific energy is required from you in order to respond to this situation. But before you respond to this situation, you have to think about this situation in a certain way, in a specific way. So why am I trying to say to you, my gorgeous Scorpioni, that something really odd is going to be on your mind? Maybe suddenly you will have like, oh, I want to go to this certain shop, and you're going to be thinking like, where on earth is that coming to my mind now? Or you're going to be thinking about, oh, I want to go to the certain place, like where you haven't been in absolute years, or to the certain place where you've never been before. It's not about what direction, what sacred direction you're going to have. It's more about you following this sacred guidance. And once you get to that particular destination, something is going to happen. I will show you now. Once you get to that particular destination, my gorgeous Scorpioni, something is going to happen to you. Something is going to inspire you. You're going to come across something. You're going to see something. And what you're going to come across and what you're going to see, it will have nothing to do with that particular place. It will have nothing to do with like, you know, with what was the first thing on your mind and things like that. It's more about the inspiration that this is going to bring into your life. And that inspiration is to do with something that you are going to feel connection to something, and you're going to feel connected to something for the first time in your life. And that in itself is, look at this, again, inspiration. An inspiration just came out. You see, you're going to have an important inspiration. Something is going to inspire you for the first time in your life, my gorgeous Scorpioni. And this in itself is going to, look at this, it's going to lead towards an important reconciliation. Okay, and at the same time, it's going to lead towards your own willpower as well. So this is such an important aspect of your spiritual journey that you need to go through. And you can only get to that point in your life when you follow sacred direction. You want to know and you want to ask, why is this a sacred direction? Because when we sleep, I know I said this millions of times, but it's just so important. When we sleep, our subconscious mind takes over. We dream every night. We are very clever. We are very spiritually, ridiculously spiritually intelligent, because we tap into all sorts of different dimensions, all sorts of different directions, and that in itself increases so much clarity around and about things that we want to know, because while we are sleeping, our mind is still working like 100%. It's keeping going and keeping going and keeping going and keep going, you know. And anything that's on your mind, we touch into it, we tap into it without even realizing. So a lot is answered to us because it's a very sacred part of our spiritual journey on this earth, you know, when it comes to our subconscious mind. So we realize things that we need to pay attention to. But the problem is that once we come out of that vibration, as soon as we wake up, the first few minutes are crucial to pay attention to what we feel an attachment to, what we feel the connection to, you know, what we feel an absolute, what is the message out of that dream that is coming out, you see, to you know, what is the ultimate message. And it's going to come in a certain form, like in a certain word or a certain realization, or you want to go somewhere, or you want to do something. And the more odd this is, the better message it's going to be, the more impact on your life this is actually going to make. So this is why this is so important, my gorgeous Scorpioni, indeed. What else I was going to say, another thing that I was going to recommend you is like, oh my God, I have got an absolutely magical, beautiful and gorgeous purple Suji stone back in stock. My goodness, it has been a while. This is a really, really popular pendant, and it's a popular crystal because it's so gorgeous, it's so striking, it's so powerful, it's so unusual. But also purple Suji stone, I highly, highly recommend you to wear this, my gorgeous Scorpioni, throughout June, July and August. And you know, these are the real proper Suji stones, like this baby here. They're very much so quite difficult to actually get, and they are indeed quite rare. But it's not only about that, it's just how powerful and how beautiful they are. They will, you know, purple Suji stone, it's going to purify, it purifies and it burns away any negative attachments, you know, and trauma from past lives and bad karma spots as well. And also it's to channel your love and power as well. It's fantastic to channel love and channel your power as well. So it does enhance, you know, so many different aspects of your life. You know, like on a spiritual level, on a spiritual terms, it's brilliant because it helps you to kind of reconnect with yourself, but it helps you to reconnect with the people in your life and with the people who you connect with as well. Because by wearing this, you attract the right people into your life, you know, whether these are to do with emotions or whether these are to do with the business, whether this is to do with the friends, it doesn't matter. It matches your vibration perfectly, and then you are kind of sending that particular vibration out, and it attracts the right people into your life, whether it's to do with love, business, finances, friendship, or whatever it is. Absolutely brilliant pendant, my gorgeous Scorpioni. So this is something I highly recommend you to wear. This comes with a gorgeous sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this is in the description below. But buying things from my channel, you're also supporting my channel as well, so thank you very much. The next important date, my gorgeous Scorpioni, it's going to be on the 16th of June. Now on the 16th of June, it's like, oh my God, what an intuitive day you're actually going to have. But your own intuition, something is going to be on your mind so persistently this particular day. It's to do with your intuition, you know, and now your intuition, it's like kind of going to bring a clarity into your life. Your intuition is going to bring clarity into your life, especially when it comes to what do you need to do when it comes to number one, long-term success, and number two, exactly which contribution do you need to make. So listen to me carefully, my gorgeous Scorpione. This is going to come to you through your own intuition, okay? On the 16th of June 2023, your own intuition is going to bring a clarity to you, and that clarity is, on number one, is you will know what do you need to do in terms of a long-term success, and number two, exactly which contribution do you need to make. You need to understand that in exactly 7 weeks after that moment in time, you are going to have a victory and a and a very, very important recognition. And this is to do with like quite, hefty and significant progress, which is going to reflect on your confidence. So this is absolutely brilliant. This in itself, it's going to help you to become stronger, but this is going to help you to become stronger. This is going to make you stronger. This is so important, especially after so much that you've actually been through over the last 2 or 3 years. You are really waiting for this point. You're really waiting for this moment in time. It's not only gonna kind of make you become stronger, but at the same time you will understand kind of what you are inexperienced about, and that in itself, it's really also going to kind of like it's going to make you feel really kind of determined as well when you need this determination. So this is so important. So you will know exactly what you are inexperienced about and what you need to kind of learn more about, so this is why this is so important, because at the end of the day, it's just basically like it's all about the focus and knowing what you're gonna do at this moment in time, but it's also a lot about self-examination, especially when it comes to things that especially when it comes to things that you should be paying attention to in terms of priority, because again, you're gonna see that priorities are changing so much. They've changed quite a lot in your life within the last few weeks, but now this is literally going to become absolutely obvious indeed. And the next important date, my gorgeous Scorpione, it's going to be on the 27th of June. Now, on the 27th of June, this is like, you must understand that from this moment onwards, things are gonna start going upwards in your life, no matter how things seem to be, no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, because I know that you're gonna be worrying about something, but then again, it's to do with you maybe hearing the specific information, and it's something to do with the world on the outside, and then you're gonna hear about somebody's unfortunate situation, that something bad happened to somebody who is not in your life, but it's still going to affect you, and it's going to make you question things. It's going to make you question your life. It's going to make you feel like, oh my God, it's going to make you feel like there is so much you want to learn, and it's also going to make you feel like how you want to unlearn. That's how you're going to feel like, I want to unlearn everything I've ever learned in my entire life, and I want to learn it again all over in my own way. And this is a brilliant moment. This is very important because there is so much to it indeed. And when you think like that, you are most importantly finding yourself on the right path, because you're questioning things. You're going to be questioning things that don't make sense, and why would you go along with things that don't make sense? So this is why this is really going to be kind of deep, spiritual, powerful moment again that you're actually going to be going through. What you need to understand on the 27th of June, my gorgeous Scorpione, is basically do not, everything what I said, it doesn't matter now, but what you just, with what I'm going to say, do not resist an inevitable, okay? Do not resist an inevitable end on the 27th of June. And this is entirely down to you and entirely up to you. This is important for you to understand. Do not resist an inevitable end, okay? Because, you know, you are going to be having this some kind of contemplation on this day, you know, and it's not only that particular day, but it's more like in between the 27th of June and the end of that month, in between the 27th of June and the end of that month, you know. Don't resist. Basically, you're going to find yourself contemplating. You're going to find yourself reevaluating. And this, when you find yourself contemplating and reevaluating, this is what I need you to remember: to not resist an oh my God, an inevitable end. I've said it. Don't resist it, because, you know, by you not resisting this, you know, just 9 days after that moment in time, 9 days after that moment in time, some kind of a wish, it's going to come true already. So please, 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 just my gorgeous Scorpione, it is important to move on with your life when you need to move on with your life. If something has come to an end, it has literally come to an end. Of course that we can work on things, work on the things and work on this, on things, but then again, sometimes you're just wasting your time and wasting your energy, and it's also having like a really negative impact on you. So it's always like a fine thin line in between things that we need to work on to understand what it is, and in between those things that have come to an end. This situation in itself, it's going to show you, my gorgeous Scorpione, what has come to an end. But even more so, as the direct karmic reward, exactly 9 days after that moment in time, some kind of a wish, it's going to come true. This is a lot to do with your contentment. It's a lot to do with your satisfaction, emotional stability. And at the same time, it's a lot about your balance being literally restored. Now, this in itself, it's really kind of going to lead towards not only like your own personal restoration, but at the same time, it's going to lead towards your own recovery. It's going to bring this healing energy into your life. So you will see that you're going to start feeling so much more energetic after this moment in time. And ailment-wise, something that was making you feel so kind of worried, it's gonna feel better as well at the same time. So this in itself is going to be the time of your recovery, the time of your comeback, but it's also going to show you in between the 27th of June and the end of that month, what training do you need, what more consistency do you kind of need in your life, and what do you need to practice, you know. And when it comes to what do you need to practice and things like that, my gorgeous Scorpione, just remember to always be yourself. Stay true to yourself. This time couldn't have been more important for you to stay true to yourself. Be weird, be strange, be bizarre, be unusual. The more strange, bizarre and unusual you are, the better outcome it's actually going to be, and more successful you're going to be, more contentment in your life you're going to have. So be authentic, my gorgeous Scorpione. Be real, my gorgeous Scorpione. Be organic, my gorgeous Scorpione, because that's the only way to be. Very, very important indeed. Another thing I was going to recommend you, it's like, oh my goodness, look how gorgeous this is. Absolutely beautiful. Yes, it is ever so gorgeous Labradorite. This is something, again, this is not only stunning. Look at the colors. Absolutely stunning. So this is not only stunning, but it's fantastic for transformation. It stimulates imagination. It's brilliant for manifesting, and it's also going to strengthen your will. It makes you so much more confidence, and at the same time, it is just a kind of like, it makes you really a kind of when you wear this, you know, you just become kind of like a very, very creative with the right things. You become creating with the right things, and also when we are confused about something, it like helps us really to separate the ways, you know, to separate things in our lives, you know, when we are over, you know, what's important and what's not important, without us even realizing as such. And then later we just realize, oh my God, I've done something that I wouldn't normally do when I'm wearing this, and look at the outcome. It's type of things like that. So it does create this absolutely mind-blowing balance as well. This gorgeous Labradorite comes with sterling silver chain, and the link to buy this, my gorgeous Scorpioni, is in the description below. By buying things from my channel, so you're also supporting my channel as well. So now, my gorgeous Scorpioni, I'm just going to see what is going to happen to those of you in relationships. So now, you know what? I want to say this because, you know, there is some kind of a difficulty that you will be dealing with as the couple this month. There is some kind of a difficulty that you will be dealing with. And, you know, it's more about you both working on something and you both being disappointed about something. But it's just like, you know, again, karmically, you should both move on and walk away from something. This is so important. And by you moving away, it's about the discontinuance of some kind of effort that, like, kind of maybe it's going to disappoint both of you, but it doesn't really matter because something much better is actually coming. So it's more about you acknowledging this. So this is already to do with something that brought so much difficulties into both of your lives. So it's more about being completely honest with this particular situation, just acknowledging. By acknowledging this situation, and how you're going to acknowledge this situation, all you both need to do is like, okay, we need to stop this, we need to discontinue this, we need to move on from this, we need to walk away from this. And at that moment in time, you will not know this, but by the end of the actual month, you will realize how good was this to stop, to walk away from, to move away from, because by the end of the month, you're going to realize that you had it has a lot to do with a minor deception recognized before the actual damage is done. So you're going to find out something by the end of the month, and you're going to realize if we didn't walk away from that, oh my god, that would damage both of us big time, big way, you see. So this is why it's so important yet again to listen to your intuition and follow your internal guidance, because both of you are going to feel about this in exactly the same way. Okay, there is no need to beat around the bush with something that just kind of it's really affecting the quality of life for both of you. And when it comes to my gorgeous Scorpioni, for those of you who are single and ready to mingle, so now you know that you are going to have a really interesting realization. And this interesting realization, you're not going to have this by yourself, my gorgeous Scorpione. This is for those of you who are single. You are going to have this very, very interesting realization, which is going to come at a time when you're talking to someone, when you're talking to someone. This really gorgeous person, somebody very sympathetic, somebody very understanding, somebody very friendly, somebody very loving, somebody very practical, somebody who is very different, and somebody is very sincere. It's like really genuinely, this is like genuinely, this is a beautiful, gorgeous person. And you're going to have a conversation with that particular person, and then suddenly through that person, you're going to realize that you're still maybe liking someone and you're fancying someone who you shouldn't like or who you shouldn't fancy, because you know that in itself has created like a bit of like a blockage, you know, an energetic blockage in your life. So sometimes we can fancy certain people and we can like certain people. Maybe these are people who we've been with, maybe these are people who are coming from stranger in the night to the Scorpione in the morning, maybe that kind of moment, you know what I mean? There are so many different ways that we can actually connect to people, you know, so many different ways, but it's more about what's left behind, what's left after all that, because it looks like something happening between you and somebody else. Maybe you just like kind of had a strong connection with someone. Maybe you were just talking to someone and you really fancied that person. Maybe there was a bit of a stranger in the night moment, you know, but it doesn't matter. The bottom line is that you had a connection to somebody a while back. you had a connection with somebody, and somehow subconsciously you're still kind of like, you know, thinking about that person without you even realizing. So somehow you're going to realize when you have a conversation with this gorgeous person that I've told you at the beginning, you know, through that person you're going to realize that you're still holding on to somebody, and you holding on to somebody, you fancying somebody who you shouldn't fancy anymore, my gorgeous Scorpione. And you know this, consciously you know this, but subconsciously you're still kind of like hoping without even realizing. And that in itself is just as important as finding someone else, because, you know, this was making things difficult for you. Every single time when you would see someone who you fancy or someone who you like, you know, this would slow things down for you and make them difficult for you when it comes to you being open towards a new relationship. So now you're gonna realize, oh my god, this is like, yeah, I am actually liking this person, you know, and you're gonna realize this. And as soon as you realize this, first of all, you're gonna find this like completely like kind of like very releasing. You're gonna find this first confusing, and then you're gonna like it, and then you're gonna be able to release this huge amount of negative energy. You will see one thing is gonna lead to another. This is gonna open your eyes so much, and you're gonna realize how much was this actually affecting you. And few days after that moment in time, there is a very interesting idea that you are going to have. At the time when you're working on spiritual things, whatever this is, you're gonna do something spiritual, whatever you consider spiritual. And at that moment in time, you're gonna be open in a different way. And there is gonna be some kind of idea that you're gonna have. And this particular idea that you're gonna have, bits and pieces of the people that are gonna be on your mind are somehow gonna be connected to what you do and the way you live your life. But it's more about this place that you're going to have on your mind, this place. And this place is somewhere where you should go, because that particular place which is going to be on your mind, it's also gonna be, you're gonna have some kind of adventure there when it comes to somebody very, very special. But it's not only about an adventure, it's about actually somebody is gonna approach you, somebody very interesting, very beautiful. And that's the particular person that I'm talking about. That's the particular person that I'm talking about, I mean, in such a way that is going to walk into your life. But you just have to wait, my gorgeous Scorpione. At the moment, it's one step at a time. I mean, you realizing that you're still holding on to someone who you shouldn't, this is going to set you free. And once you're set free, after this moment in time, nothing is going to affect you in such a way again. Okay, my gorgeous Scorpione, thank you ever so much for watching my videos. I love every single one of you. I'm sending you brightest blessings, lots of love, healing, peace and light to every single one of you, my gorgeous Scorpione. Sasha Bonasin, psychic medium. Love you. Bye.